FoMaTi, czyli Folded Maps of Time, oznacza powrót do przeszłości, no, na bazie tego, co pamiętamy, ale też mamy pełną świadomość w momencie, kiedy się zajmujemy kognitywistyką, psychologią, to wiemy, że to jest dużo bardziej złożony proces niż nam się wydaje i bardzo często to, co pamiętamy, zostaje poddane pewnym przetworzeniom. W największym uproszczeniu możemy powiedzieć, że na temat przyszłości konfabulujemy bardzo często i tę przeszłość zmieniamy. W ten sposób zestawiając pewne wątki, pewne wspomnienia. O tym jest między innymi projekt FoMaTi. The first interview which we made in this tram depot, Lamp Station, that was mostly our imagination how it will be before the show. So now we are in a very special moment when we are after 2 shows, before the third one. We are, ladies and gentlemen, we are in Hashtag Lab in Warsaw, Barska Street 29. So what about this? What do you think? Where we are?
Well,
in between.
we're a little bit along the road. I mean, I abandoned the electronics. That was quite a big step. So there's more brain now and less electronics. When I electrified the drums, I deliberately avoided all samples. I just amplified them.
Okay.
So they were all real sounds, just bigger and running through processors. So I completely controlled them.
Okay.
This I
Predictable.
can't control. Basically, these are samples which are responding to levels of activity in different, you know, the
layers or
theta, alpha, so on. So the possibility of controlling them while busy doing something else, like playing an instrument, is quite minimal, really. So it's not the same kind of electrification as the percussion, because then I was in complete control. Now I'm making a choice between things that are already there, because the samples that are attached to the different waves are fixed. And I know what they are, and I can bring up whichever one I want at any time, or several together, but I can't change that. If I want a piano sound or a trombone or some cattle in a field, I haven't got it. I mean, I could have it if you programmed it in there, but I haven't. So the difference for me is the difference between making something and choosing something.
To mention also the Piotr programming, because he prepared several patches, and one of them is called Raw Filter 7, connected with nano controller by Cork. You have up to 16 controllers, 8 faders and 8 knobs. Those knobs are connected with particular band brain frequency, alpha, zeta, alpha, beta, and gamma, altogether low, high, low, high, low, high, so altogether 8 of them. And they're like a pure electronic signals responsible of those frequencies, low sub-acoustic frequencies, but also the highest one are acoustic. You hear them as a very low sound, quite powerful in a way sometimes. And then you have those sliders, which are. Does it work for you like a brain synth? Because there are noises. There's a bass, rough line. This one, okay. Then there are quite analog-like synthesizer, and my favorite is raw, theremin-like sound, because it's quite clear that when you are more active, the sound goes up, and then it goes up when you are relaxing. That's what we are using now for this, and today we try to make a real dialogue between these two brain synths talking together. Decision about the visual is quite certain, because we use the archive photographies, which are like a direct reference. So when I explain it, it seems to be too simple, but in a way when we put them on a run, they're rotating, they're making bigger, smaller, then we are going to more aesthetical form of video art. We have several projections, and we have the level of lab, like showing our brain activity live, but then other screens are showing some visual, abstract, less or more abstract video art live.
Brain material is controlling material. In other words, you can't do anything you want. If you were just improvising, you can do anything you want, because you're making the sounds, and that's it. When your brain is making sounds that you can only half control,
Yes.
then you have to work with that. So that's control material. And I presume looking at those old pictures might make your brain do a certain thing, which would then result in a certain sound which you then have to respond to, and then you have a feedback loop between your response to the thing and the thing itself, and who knows what the brain will do then, you know. So in this respect the brain is an anchor, and it's also what they call a waveguide, you know, when they theories of how the universe holds together. You know, Bohm thinks that there's this kind of leading wave, so the brain kind of provides an analogy to that. The relation with the electronic kit is the instability of the electronics. So I'm constantly responding to the way the electronics are behaving, because I've got 12, 15 microphones quite close to each other, going through a whole range of processes and responding to acoustic information. So whatever the acoustic of the space is, everything is interference, everything is wave cancellation, everything is potential feedback. So all of the components in the processing gear and all of the information that's coming from the room and from the resonance of the kit, you know, it's like a wild horse, and you have to somehow try and keep it under control. So in such a case, it's like you're having a kind of struggle in real time, an agon with the failures of technology. So that's a very different experience. In a respect, yes, what the brain is doing is having a similar, you know, is offering a similar material in that you have to deal with the material that's there, but it's external rather than internal. Whereas with the electric kit, it's internal. It's all to do with what's going on in those circuits, which you can't really control.
then you have several objects, several kinetic, motorized toys, also like toothbrush, like a massager, which when you put on top of the membrana, then the membrana start to work completely different than when you hit on the stick, by stick. Yeah, this is, but that's what you are using for a long time already.
Yeah, I use those things for a long time, but what's new is using a pair of microphones for close work. This I didn't do before. That's a new thing. Because I think that's also a substitute for the electrics, because I still, one of the what Cage demonstrated, one of the things that electronics amplification does is to make very small sounds that you can't really hear very big. This is a good thing. I like this because it's like looking through a microscope at pond life. It's very alien. It doesn't sound like the things you know, look like the things you know. So amplification is good for that. So by using microphones in this way for close work, it helps to make sounds which are not so obvious.